Hip hop producers are in trouble. Pete Rock's going to be suing all of you. Dilla's estate's going to be suing all of you. All the because they can 3 6 Mafia is going to be suing a lot of people. A lot of rap producers are getting the sued out of them. EDM producers sued like crazy.
I mean, this all sounds ridiculous to me, but
This is brought to you by Two Lost. We just talked a lot about streaming and how much money there is in it. If you want to, and distribution isn't just about streaming. So if you want to try that out, 3 months free. Promo code is PAIN. Go to twolost.com. Sign up for 3 free months.
I want to
premium
highlight this too as well, because Dane pointed this out, which is why I'm about to bring a new artist over to Two Lost. They distribute to almost double the amount of stores that most distributors distribute to. So for people who do already make money in streaming or aren't making or are making a little bit, you could try out Two Lost to see if maybe it won't double your income because it's distributing to smaller stores and markets, but it could bump it a percentage. And I'm very interested to see what that looks like for the creators that I'm planning on bringing over to Two Lost, because that's a significant thing that he highlighted a couple weeks ago. And I was like, wait, like there's more stores to be. I'm aware of that because of Merlin's deals and all of those things, but I didn't realize it was 200 or 300 more stores, whatever the number was. I thought it was maybe, okay, we have 20 more stores that we can distribute to. I'm like, okay, 5 to 10 more cents per month. That's not worth me moving over. But when you start to talk about places that I've never heard of, that makes me interested in the platform as well. So managers who know what that means or artists who are experienced, I would say trying out Two Lost with this trial period just for a few new singles to see if it makes a difference, I think is worth it.
Yeah, we're going to start highlighting some of the places that we distribute, like Peloton, for example. Now, if you put your music on, like everybody's music's not going to be available on Peloton, but if your music is selected for a playlist on Peloton, they pay more money than any DSP.
The highest.
Like
they pay amazingly.
And if one of the instructors takes a liking to your stuff, and again, having this happen is an outlier. A lot of situations are just outliers. That's why you have to put yourself in a lot of situations in order to increase the chances of your music being selected for different opportunities, just like in the sync world, right? There's not a lot of people that are going to be able to be placed in the next Spider-Man movie, but if you do get placed in the next Spider-Man movie, it's going to be a big check. But anyway, yeah, we do distribute to way more stores than any other distributor, around the world. So that's definitely one benefit of using Two Lost. But Payne, break this down for us. I'm curious to know what this is about.
So there is, I guess, what is considered a shotgun approach to this lawsuit, which is basically just hitting as many people as you possibly can. There are 2 artists. I'm a big dancehall fan, so this is interesting to me. Steely and Cleavy's 1989 hit Fish Market originated the distinctive rhythm that became, I excluded a word and it's important and I'll explain why in a second, that became a signature of reggaeton music. All right, so basically, if people aren't familiar with reggaeton, it's dancehall. I mean, it's a very specific style of dancehall, but it originates from dancehall. So these are 2 dancehall producers who created a instrumental in 1989 called Fish Market, and now they're suing pretty much every famous reggaeton artist for using that signature drum pattern. Now, here's what's interesting to me about this particular assertion. So this is in Rolling Stone, my favorite. And what the language actually says, because I eliminated one word, it says, Steely and Cleavy's 1989 hit Fish Market originated the distinctive dembow rhythm that's become a signature of reggaeton music. Now, dembow is the name of a Shabba Ranks song that came out in 1990. So is Shabba Ranks getting sued as well? Because I always understood, and look, I'm familiar with Fish Market. there was a Panamanian dancehall DJ named El General who I listened to all the time when I was a kid. He's the one that purportedly created reggaeton as a genre because he was the first to use that rhythm for a Spanish rendition of these dancehall records. And he did dembow. He called it sombo because that's the Spanish translation. Now, he also did Fish Market. I can't the name of the song is in my head, but I don't remember the name. But he did Fish Market too. So if Fish Market predates the Shabba Rank song, then this claim that the Shabba Rank song was the first reggaeton record is now in question. So from that perspective, I think it's really interesting because, that's a genre that I love listening to. In terms of the legal ramifications of this, obviously this could be incredibly damaging to a lot of music. It's kind of like I love Tracy Chapman. I think Fast Car is one of the, if not the most well-written song of all time. It's up there. When she was suing Nicki Minaj potentially for sampling her, but the song was unreleased, that was another legal precedent that could completely destroy music. Because if you can't sample legally someone without, you have to sample first and then clear it second. So if you couldn't even do that, suddenly, virtually every modern music genre is at risk of having creativity stifled. So that's what,
because it got leaked though, right?
It got leaked, but the thing is, it wasn't her. So they weren't suing her for sampling. The precedent that case would have set would have meant that you just couldn't sample, basically, and that was what was scary about it, and it got thrown out. So my feeling is that this is going to get thrown out too, because otherwise, everybody's got to pay, and my understanding. So copyright law is complicated. It might be more straightforward on paper, but it's not. So I think if you ask the average person who makes music, can you copyright a drum pattern? You can record drums and copyright that recording, but can you copyright the pattern of the drums? Well, the answer is no. If you Google it, it'll tell you the answer is no. Same way if you say, hey, can I copyright a chord progression? The answer will be no, because you can only copyright in terms of the underlying composition, of course, not the master, the underlying composition. And that's what matters in this lawsuit, because these aren't direct samples. These are derivatives or interpolations. But you can only copyright melodies and lyrics, right? However, where does a chord progression end and a melody begin, right? And that's when things get tricky. So I think there's a very good chance that this lawsuit gets thrown out. There might be some settlement money. I don't, or maybe it's just going to be a good PR move for the artists that are suing. I think either way, the folks that are suing are going to get some benefit out of this. I don't think they're going to be able to essentially sue an entire genre because the drum loops are similar, especially given the fact that when you consider the Fish Market drum pattern, you hear it everywhere. It's not just in reggaeton music. It's not just in dance hall. You hear it in EDM. You hear it in European music. You hear it in Arabic music. Arab music. You hear it in. I've heard it in Brazilian music. I've heard it in music from Portugal when I was out in Europe. I can't see it. I can't see it happening. I think that they probably know it's a long shot.
Okay, so I'm kind of with you, but the reason that I feel like this is such a big deal is because it's not just, let's put some names behind it, because if people aren't familiar with the genre, or they're familiar with reggaeton, but they don't know what that means, this is currently Daddy Yankee, Bad Bunny, Carol G, like it's what do they have like
Drake's on it too. Drake
have
is
like
on it.
50 or 60 artists on this lawsuit. Like, so when they say the whole genre of reggaeton, literally every artist that's charted in reggaeton in the last, I think, 10 years is in this class action or is in this lawsuit. Like, they named, and granted, the genre is relatively small. That's why I'm saying, like, I think it's 50 or 80. I can't remember the number. I think it's just under 100 artists or under 100 artists that are in this lawsuit, but it's major names, major lawyers, major labels, and it's still moving forward. That's why I feel like there had to be some legal precedence, because my assumption is that the lawyers representing this case wouldn't be so greedy and ignorant to be like, yeah, it kind of sounds like that. That makes sense. I'm assuming that they sought legal counsel with other people. And this has been going on for the last 2 years. It's picking up more steam now because Daddy Yankee has recently said he's retiring from reggaeton. And so people are speculating that it's because, like, he said that he found faith and he's like gotten saved. So he wants to devote his time to that. He's also been doing this for 2+ decades. So the dude can legitimately want to retire. But people are like, Daddy Yankee's retiring. Bad Bunny has requested multiple times for this lawsuit to be thrown out. And then he's gotten together with a group of the people in the lawsuit and requested different things to be changed and moved around. So I feel like if it was just like a random, like I think about there's an artist who sued Katy Perry some years back for, I think we had even talked about that. I feel like that's one of the first things that I was on the podcast talking about. And
Yep.
that was kind of like a shot in the dark, potentially, maybe. But even one of the artists on the songs was like, this isn't even worth my time pursuing this lawsuit because it's probably going to get thrown out because of Katy Perry's lawyers. It ended up going through, from what I understand. There was a settlement or he won. I can't really quite remember, but he ended up getting like $1.5 million. The lawsuit wasn't that big because it was just for one song. But this is literally trying like Daddy Yankee and Bad Bunny's entire catalog. That's what's insane about this to me. So I feel like, as much as I'm with you on like hearing the songs, thinking about all the different genres that are influenced by this sound, I think that it's like, it sounds like it could just be a random, like, boom, you're trying to shoot a shotgun and hope you get a bunch of settlements. But I would have to believe that their lawyers aren't this greedy and ignorant. I feel like there has to be some legal precedence there that they've dug deep for this to still be going on 2 years later. And for them, to me, to now be making almost like desperate, because at first it wasn't in the media. Now we're starting to see a lot more articles about it. So I don't know. I think this is interesting. It's nerve-wracking to a degree to think that it could have legal precedence because of the ramifications on the internet, like you said, like what it will set in the industry. But at the same time, I'm wondering if there's something there that maybe we don't understand, where they're taking this taking this case to trial with some sort of precedence that's more than just, okay, maybe they're calling the drum pattern a melody now, or because reggaeton is so heavy about, I don't know. I think it's such an interesting case. And the more I read about it, the more I'm confused and the more that I'm fascinated that it's actually still moving forward. So I feel like there's something there that we actually don't know. I don't necessarily feel like this is the same as either the Blurred Lines case or even that, was it Thinking Out Loud with Ed Sheeran? I don't remember which song it was. I feel like it's still a way different case. So I'm really interested to see
Very different.
how it gets threshed out. So I don't know. I think it's scary for the genre. I think it's a little bit scary for music, but I also feel like there may be something there as a rights holder that they really want to fight for. And I'm all for rights holders getting their just due. Obviously, if it turns out that they legally have the right to this, there's gonna be a big settlement. And it may be like they're getting royalties in perpetuity from the labels. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna end up with Daddy Yankee, Bad Bunny, and all them getting their whole discography yanked. But I do think it's like a very
But what it would lead to is every single artist from the genre having to clear every single song before.
Or I think a major settlement. I could see the big three coming and saying like, hey, here's what you get. again, royalty, like maybe you're written in as a writer for all of these songs forever, or, you're getting a lump sum of, $1 billion plus something, but these are like just major artists. So I feel like this is just going to be really interesting. And if it gets settled quietly out of court, I can't wait to meet somebody involved with it who can tell me the ins and outs of it.
But because this would spread over to dancehall, then it wouldn't just be reggaeton artists.
It would
And
end up
it's
hitting hip hop. It would hit like Afro beats. It would end up hitting everything. It would go into now pop because all the like Afro Latino music. It would hit everything because it's like once you go here, unless they pay you the right way, it's gonna be a huge domino effect, and I think everybody knows that.
So I'm still a bit confused, as I'm sure some people watching this are going to be. So you're telling me that one song kind of birthed the whole genre, and
it did. I mean,
And
every
it
and
really did.
yeah.
If you listen to it, like, because it's like I don't want to do it because people are gonna make fun of me, but it's like the thing that makes reggaeton is like a specific type of drum sound, right? It's a pattern that every reggaeton song has, and then it's the same with like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's the same with like drill music. Drill has a certain sound that every drill song has. So it's like it's essentially like somebody saying, we created that pattern and now we want the rights. We essentially have the rights to sue you for every song in this genre because you took this pattern from a song that we made in 1989, which is why Payne said there's a song that was made before that that could make this same claim. So if he's not suing for that, then there's an you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of sticky stuff, but I'm saying that I feel like the precedence is weird because if they're still moving forward with this, there's something we don't know.
Okay, so then could Chief Keef sue the entire drill genre?
That's what I'm saying. It gets scary because then everybody's in jeopardy.
yeah, I don't know.
That's crazy. All right. So an update on the Katy Perry case. It was a $2.8 million settlement. And it was the Dark Horse song. So there was a rapper named Marcus Gray who alleged that Katy Perry stole Dark Horse. And that would have been a melody and other elements, not a drum pattern. And Katy Perry actually appealed it. Yeah.
That part came from his rap song. I think his rap name is Flame.
That I don't know. His real name is Marcus Gray, and he lost by appeal. So Katy Perry didn't have to pay anything.
Wait, they went to settle it and then he appealed? Dang. Greed is an MFer.
No, she appealed. She appealed.
Okay. I thought, okay.
So let me continue then in this Rolling Stone article, and I'm sorry, it's the best I got. So the attorney of Bad Bunny said he said there are no samples of Steely and Cleavy's sound recordings in any of Bad Bunny's works. So the claims against Bad Bunny center on the duo's composition copyrights, as I said, only, which filter out elements such as instrument choice, synthesized sounds, and timbre. He argued that without those elements, the only thing left is the drum rhythm, which he said is not protectable. So that's going to be at the center of all of this. And, you know, again, I'll continue reading. Lawyers on both sides sparred over whether a drum rhythm is protectable under copyright law, whether Fish Market was truly original, and why Brown and his heirs to Johnson's estate waited until 2020 to even register Fish Market. Oh, a defense lawyer pointed out that the plaintiffs never sued Dennis Halliburton over his 1990s song Pounder Rhythm, which famously copied the drum pattern on Fish Market and was later sampled widely. So I think there's a lot going on, and it's really going to center around whether or not copyright protection on the composition side will eventually include percussive lines. And if that's the case, that's going to be huge because as I said, a bunch of people are going to be coming out of the woodwork suing. It's going to take a lot of legal resources to handle all of these cases, and it's going to take a ton of time to really flesh this out. And all this stuff is up for dispute because it's music. Who knows who started what, who did what first, who registered what before the other. It's pretty crazy. Oh man. And so they're even bringing up rap in this article. Who is Burroughs? Now I'm confused by all these names, but someone named Burroughs, no, Judge. Wow. We're at an interesting time when a judge is asking this question. Judge Barat asked, the boom bap sort of rhythm, you think there was nothing like it before? Or the boom bap sort of rhythm? Okay, she's not okay, I thought she was talking about boom bap hip hop. But I think, again, that would extend into rap. And then
her trying to make the beat boom bap, or him?
I guess, yeah. I'm just
I'm
reading it. I know that's not what it sounds like.
I'm not a heavy listener of reggaeton, so but rap is way more. And I'm not saying reggaeton isn't. It doesn't sound like it is if they're making this case, but like rap is way more diverse in sound. Like I can't see like
it is
a similar thread throughout all of rap music from its inception.
No, we're just saying like micro genres or subgenres like drill. Like if reggaeton is in trouble, then drill is in trouble, or even really anything that has 808s. Kanye could sue the whole industry, and then we'll go back to who was before Kanye. It's just more of the like if this sonic drum pattern can say that because we created this, now everybody's in trouble. Anybody who has an iconic drum pattern, even like Tay Keith, he could go back and sue everybody who's made because Tay Keith has DJ Mustard, like now all these guys can now go back and sue anybody who's created similar drum patterns. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then someone else can go and sue them, like a legendary trackster can come out and sue somebody, or a Dark Child. Timberland could be suing people like crazy. The Neptunes, DJ Marley Marl could DJ Marley Marl start suing people for beats that he sampled and made because now they're sampling the same? I think it just opens a huge Pandora's box, and I personally don't think the courts are going to want that kind of chaos.
A lot of producers.
I feel like that's how lawyers are going to get this off. They're going to be like, hey, if y'all do this, you have to overturn all these things. I feel like that's actually going to be their defense versus, hey, this, you know what I'm saying? I think this is it's very interesting. I'm not smiling.
Well, if you can't,
yeah.
But if you can't copyright the underlying composition of a drum pattern, then wouldn't that just shut the whole thing down? So I see what you're saying, Aaron. There's got to be something else to it, because they wouldn't be litigating this for 3 going on 4 damn years if there weren't something else going on. Or is it because they're really considering rewriting the copyright law?
Interesting times. I think that this is a cool conversation because I think we should be paying attention to what's going on behind the scenes and not just what's happening right now in our face. Like Spotify is right now in our face and affects most current artists and creatives. This is something that's happening behind the scenes to major artists, and it will affect all of us if something does move forward. And if it doesn't move forward, we should be saying why and understanding behind it. So I hope y'all look into this a little bit more. I think it's a fascinating case. The more I read about it, the more I learn, but it's very interesting. There's not a lot of details that have been released, like super micro details. So you do have to do some research, but I do think it's an interesting read, and I think it's beneficial for our community to learn from.
Oh yeah, because if this case actually is successful and they actually do successfully sue the entire genre of reggaeton, hip hop producers are in trouble. P Rock's going to be suing all of you. Dilla's estate's going to be suing all of you. All the because they can 3 6 Mafia is going to be suing a lot of people. A lot of rap producers are getting the shit sued out of them. EDM producers sued like crazy.
I mean, this all sounds ridiculous to me, but at least informed on it. Yeah, out of the three of us, so I've said the least because that's probably true. But it just sounds completely ridiculous to me. And if they win, then yeah, I just think it's wild.
I mean, I felt the same way about a lot of the other lawsuits, and it does sound like I was actually on on the side of the Christian rapper that sued Katy Perry, because there was just something a little too similar about those two tracks, and I think Dame was on Katy Perry's side, so Dame emerged as the victor on that one. I am personally a little terrified by this lawsuit, as I was by the Tracy Chapman and Nicki Minaj lawsuit, just because of the precedents that they set. And when you set a precedent like that, it becomes a money grab. It's like a legal gold rush, and there's a lot of chaos and a lot of fear. So I guess we'll see what happens when it happens. But looks like we're done with this topic. Next week, hopefully, we've been punting this conversation, but it's going to stay relevant. The conversation about advances and recoupment, because Krayshawn says she's broke. NLE Chopper says he doesn't really understand how royalty recoupment works. Money Man says the labels are robbing you. It's going to be an interesting one. Once again, we appreciate you tuning in. TwoLost.com, promo code PAIN for 3 months of free distribution, premium distribution, and we will catch you on the next episode. Peace.